Unsightly Opinions. My name's Tamara. Today we are going to be talking about photophobia. We're going to talk about what photophobia is, how it can affect people, my personal experience with photophobia, and most importantly, if you're dealing with photophobia, some tips and tricks in how to help manage the symptoms. Let's dive in. When you hear the term phobia, most people associate it with being a fear of something. Arachnophobia is the fear of spiders, and claustrophobia is the fear of enclosed spaces, so photophobia must be the fear of light, or it must be the fear of photos. That isn't the case at all. Photophobia is the medical term to describe light sensitivity. If somebody is highly sensitive to specific lighting conditions or bright lighting, they are said to be photophobic or to have photophobia. Just like most things in this world, photophobia exists on a spectrum, and people may be mildly affected or sporadically affected and have worse days than others, and some people may have chronic, constant, severe photophobia. I have personally dealt with photophobia for my entire life. So what I would describe it as is a severe discomfort and sometimes even pain in bright lighting. Depending on the type of lighting, the pain may be mild, moderate, or severe. My body has natural instincts or reactions to help manage the amount of light that goes into my eyes. If I'm in a bright environment, like under these soft boxes, you will often see me squint or blink frequently to try and minimize the amount of light that's going into my eyes. This is entirely involuntary. I am actively fighting to keep my eyes wide open and to look alert, but I can't always fight my reaction to too much light because of the pain and because my body is telling me this is wrong, you shouldn't have this much light, this hurts. The pain I go through just to make good-looking videos. My photophobia in particular can trigger migraines. So if I'm in bright lighting for too long, I will often get a headache that turns into a migraine with a variety of different side effects and its own issues, and we'll get into that another time. But suffice it to say that bright lighting is physically painful. I know that can be pretty difficult to explain, but if you've ever been in a situation where you've looked at something that's too bright and your eyes physically don't want to stay open on you, and you think, oh man, that's way too bright, and your eyes reflexively shut, or you hear something too loud and you reflexively shrink away because it hurts your ears, it's the same thing, but that happens to my eyes in even moderate lighting conditions. Photophobia can affect just about anyone, whether you have a visual impairment or not. But photophobia is far more common in the visually impaired or in the blind community because various eye conditions can affect how your eyes process light. With my particular eye condition, photophobia is a really common feature because my eyes didn't develop properly. I don't have enough pigment in my eyes to filter light, so light not only enters through my pupil, but it also enters through my iris, or the colored part. Not only that, but I don't have an absorbent layer on my retina of dark pigment to absorb the light that enters, so when light comes through my eyes, it just scatters. So you can understand how too much light or light that's not being processed properly can really be a problem. Photophobia and glare often go hand in hand. And what glare is when you have certain bright surfaces like white surfaces, lights, or reflective surfaces like mirrors or water, it can really impact how much somebody can see because the light just becomes so much that everything just washes away into nothing. So photophobia can cause real problems with someone's vision. Somebody might have good functional vision in low lighting, but really terrible functional vision outside in high lighting. So how people typically manage their photophobia is by managing lighting. And there's 1,000 different ways that you can do that. My first go-to is often sunglasses. I like to find sunglasses that have a really dark lens that cover the entire surface of my eye and often have thick sides. So there is very little light getting in to my eyes past the lenses. These are so dark, they are a custom tint. They're a 99% tint. I was warned when I got these I was not allowed to drive with them, but since I can't drive because I'm blind, I didn't think that was going to be too much of a problem. Not everybody's going to like a dark tint. So if you have photophobia and you're looking into how to manage it, different things are going to work for different people. Many people will swear by reflective lenses, and I have some on right now. These are just mirrored lenses. They're supposed to reflect back more light than they let through. Some people are going to prefer different colored lenses, like brown or gray or yellow or orange. And depending on your specific visual condition, you might have a specific preference for a particular color. I personally prefer to have very, very dark gray or blue tinted lenses because I find those block the most light. But I know that for many people, if you wear very dark gray, black tinted lenses, it can really affect with somebody's ability to see contrast or to differentiate between different things, especially in a bright environment. So if you're trying to manage a photophobia and you haven't found the right thing yet, try different things. Don't necessarily look for the standard colors of lenses. Try something that might be a purple tint or a pink tint, or a blue tint, or a yellow, or an orange. You will probably find something that you have a strong preference towards in terms of maintaining your functional vision, but also giving you the best level of contrast perception or the best ability to see what you can through those lenses. I would also mention that if you are looking for sunglasses, depending on your particular visual issue, you might want to look for sunglasses that don't have a thin or clear arm like this, but rather something that has a very thick arm or band on the side, so you're not getting light in through the sides. Another thing to note is you do not have to use horrible medical sunglasses when you're looking for something that works for you. You can find fashion frames, you can find something that fits your style and also meets your mobility needs. Another thing you might want to look into is if you need dark lenses but you don't like how poor the contrast variation is for your remaining vision, try something with an ombre lens where it's dark at the top and lighter at the bottom, because the bottom of the lens may give you more visual information about what's in front of you, like the sidewalk or the things around you, but the top is going to block out more of the light from the sun. I can't use any of my remaining vision, so for me, the darkest possible tint is always the one I go for. I have 2 pairs of custom tinted sunglasses. They were ridiculously expensive, but they have saved me from so many migraines and so many hours of lost work. The extra couple $100 was really, really worth it. If you're wondering why I don't just paint my lenses or why I don't just color them with Sharpie, I have tried that. First, the Sharpie stings your eyes even after it's dry. And second, I don't want paint chips ending up in my eye. Now, all that being said, if you can't find a polarized pair of sunglasses, if you can't find a tint that works for you, if you can't find an ombre lens, if you can't find styles of frames that are necessarily going to work with your visual issues, my next suggestion would be find a hat with a brim. And I don't wear regular hats. Typically, I will wear fashion hats, and there are so many different styles and brands and types of hats that you can wear that will help block out light, that you don't have to be stuck with a ball cap unless that's what you want to wear. When I was younger, everybody said, oh, always wear a ball cap, wear a ball cap, wear a ball cap to help with photophobia. And I was always uncomfortable because I'd be wearing a nice outfit and I'd be in a ball cap, and it just really didn't gel with me personally on a fashion level. So I started incorporating more vintage hats or more hats with my own personal personality to make me more comfortable with having to wear hats to deal with my photophobia and my albinism and not sunburning. So this is one example. This is a bucket hat with a very short brim, but I also have a variety of different sun hats and hats in all kinds of different colors. This is a black sun hat with a folded up brim and a polka dot bow on it, and it matches great with my black and white floral top. Usually when I wear hats like this, people don't assume that I'm doing it for an accessibility reason. They assume I'm doing it because I want to be fashionable. And I'd much rather people assume that I'm not doing it to help manage my disability, because that makes me more comfortable with doing it. I was always so uncomfortable with standing out. I was always so uncomfortable because I was the only one wearing sunglasses, because I was the only one wearing a hat. And it took making it a part of my fashion, it took making it a part of my identity, turning it into something that I actually could enjoy before I really accepted wanting to do that. Now, hats and sunglasses are all well and good, but what are some other options? If you go to your optometrist, you can also get colored contact lenses with a variety of different tinting. They are more expensive, but you can wear your colored or tinted contact lenses to help reduce the glare and not have to bother or worry about wearing sunglasses. I know many people who do that, whether they're just wearing standard contact lenses or even scleral contact lenses, so it can cover their entire eye surface and no light is getting in even through their iris. Even though I know that's a more expensive option, it can still be a good solution if you don't want to walk around wearing sunglasses and a hat all the time. The other thing that I do to help manage my lighting is I put in dimmable LED bulbs in just about every room that I spend a significant amount of time in. So when I'm having a really bad day and the light has gotten to me and I just need to be in a dim space, I can turn the lighting down to almost nothing. So if my partner's around, he can still see, but the lights are now no longer bugging me. My second tip is for spaces that you're in, don't use fluorescent bulbs. Fluorescent bulbs are often the most painful, at least they have been for me. One of the first things they did when they found out I had albinism through my entire elementary school is they replaced all the fluorescent bulbs with incandescents because they hurt my eyes less. What angels they were for changing out all the light bulbs in every classroom I was in, because it made a huge difference and I could actually open my eyes in the classroom. If you're not sure what lighting looks best to you or is not going to bug your eyes the most, go to a hardware store and they have a whole display of different light bulbs that you can look at and see, okay, well that one or that color hurts my eyes less than that, and then you can decide what's going to work best for you. My second tip for spaces, get blackout or diffusion curtains. So diffusion curtains are going to help mute some of the light so you don't get direct rays through the window, and blackout blinds are going to completely block out the light. Each one is good for different circumstances depending on how much light you need in your space to use your vision, but for me, I love blackout blinds. The darker the space, the happier I am. So I have blackout blinds in my bedroom at the very least, and I purposely chose the office that didn't have a window in it as my office because then I didn't have to be dealing with the variations in light from outside, because for me, the sun is particularly painful. Tip number 3, and this one is much more expensive when you're talking about modifying your spaces, is if you can put in indirect lighting sources like coffered lighting. So that's lighting kind of behind crown molding. So there is no direct or specific light source, it's just ambient lighting. It's typically going to be a lot more comfortable for just about everybody than if you have direct point source bulbs, like a light bulb on the ceiling or a lamp on a table. These are just a few tips and tricks that I came up with off the top of my head. These are some of the practical things that I do in my daily life. I can't afford coffered lighting, so I deal with the dimmable bulbs and I do the blackout blinds and I wear dark sunglasses and I wear hats. But I'd love to hear what you do to manage your photophobia or your light sensitivity in your daily life, because the more information we have, the more ideas we share, the better it is for everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.